Good morning, it's Trisha, and I want to go over Monday, November 16th. We use setups that are taking off of a chart with a few indicators, and definitely a conservative approach to trading, but I like it and it's working for me. And if you're interested in checking out the setups, getting more information, you can go to www.easyemintrade.com. And a reminder that the webinar is this Thursday at 8 p.m. and there are still a few spots available, so if that's something you're interested in, also go to the website and get the information there. During the webinar I will be going over my test results in detail of using the Keltner channel continuation setup, as well as we'll go over all of the setups, but I do have the results broken down into the winners during lunch, the winners during news, and so forth. So I think you'll find it helpful, as well as we will go over all the setups in detail. So this is our longer tick chart, and the data provider that I use for the charts that I share has not made their change yet, so that's why it's still showing 2000. But those of you whose data provider has made their change, yours will be likely 5100 or 5000. Apparently all the providers have to have made that change by the end of the month, so we'll all be on the same page as close as we can be. This is Monday, and this is a move that occurred early in the morning, and you can see that we start to get a setup occurring. We're outside of the channel. Everything looks good except for one thing. We're not in line here yet. Our yellow line has not crossed above the 20 mark until here. So unfortunately, on that bar, if you look at it, above this bar, to enter in there, you are very far from that channel line. So would like to get a pullback, or go sideways until we touch it again, or come inside it, and then exit it again. So here is where we wanted to enter, was above the high of this bar. So obviously, doing that, you didn't catch the whole entire move, but this was not in line yet. If you wanted to, after going sideways here, jump on again, totally up to you what you're comfortable with, but it still never came back and touched that channel. So I just did not want to jump into something at the end of a move. So this is where we tried to get in, was above this bar here, and unfortunately it happened so fast that we were getting ready to place the order, said the entry amount, and it had already traded to that price. So unfortunately I couldn't get in fast enough, so I missed it. Usually that doesn't happen on a 1 minute chart, but nothing you can do about it. If you miss it, you don't want to chase it, so just the break sometimes. And this right here, you can see that you are above 20 and it's rising, but when you look at this bar, you never got an entry anyway. You closed outside the channel and you never traded above it, so your entry price would have never been hit. But in looking at the chart over here, you are right at a resistance area that we established in the morning. We did break through it on that bar. So if we did get above that, then we absolutely would have entered. So we had an order in a quarter above that, but it never took it, so cancel the order. And that's why I personally like to use a quarter above the setup bar, because oftentimes the next bar, or will trade right up to the high of the setup bar, but won't get above it. So that's in that case, it's this case actually, never traded to a quarter above that, so you'll see that it kept us out of a trade that went nowhere, and then then it died. So that's why I like to use a quarter above, and that's for just this setup. I still like a half a point for the trend line breaks. And this occurred during lunch. This was at 101, and you do have, it looks like to me, like if you look over to the left on the 2000 tick chart, you can see right where my crosshairs are, that we are right at a resistance area created by the intraday price action. So it looks like to me that it actually set up on this bar, but it's hard to tell if this actually closed just on it or just above the channel. So everything's in line. If you took it here, it worked out. If you took it here, it did not. Again, I was not trading during lunch, so I really don't I don't know how this bar looked real time. So again, here it worked, here it didn't. And this actually occurred at 136. And it's going to be the same issue as what I was just talking about over here. You know, we're basically at a price where we've got a lot of consolidation going on to our left. So it might take a while to get through, or you know, you never know. Everything's in line. We are above 20, even though it's not rising. But we were willing to enter in above the high of this bar. So a quarter above here, never filled, then it closes back inside the channel, so I cancel. Then it trades back outside, closes, put an order in for a quarter above this bar here, takes it, and then it took forever before it actually started to go. But it did finally start to go. Just took forever. So if you were patient enough and were able to wait through that, that was at, when I say 136, so it was, you know, a good half hour before it actually before you actually got the first target hit. And this was a trade, it was just a little after 3, and I don't typically go counter trend. So if I'm in an uptrend, I'm going to take everything long. If I'm in a downtrend, I'm going to take everything short. But in this case, I was willing to give it a shot. And reason being is that if you look to our 2000 tick chart, we've got a support area established here. So this is an area here where we had resistance, and then of course then that resistance will turn into support. So basically my line in the sand was going to be below this area, this top line. And what I was thinking was, okay, well, if we get a setup occurring under this support area, then we're likely to at least get to our next support area, which gets us in line with our moving average on our longer tick chart, which we know oftentimes will act as a support area. And then if we're able to get through that, then the 50% retracement area will act as support. So that was the plan. Get below here. If we get a setup, we take it. And just know that this is an area where we want to be aware of, and then this would be an area that we would want to be aware of. So we actually got in under this bar here, because this is where we got below that area. If you look at my crosshair here, you can see that we're under that top line. Here we were not. So like under this bar here, if we wanted to enter under this bar here, even though we're outside the channel rising above 20, we're not below this area here that we wanted to get through. So that's why I waited for this entry. This got us in below this support area, and then it just, you know, worked out picture perfect. So you were able to take that for quite a quite a ride. So definitely a good way to end the day. I will definitely be sending something out to everybody who has the ebook, just with a couple things that I've changed on that Keltner channel setup based on the testing that I did. And it's not adding anything, it's actually taking a bunch of stuff away. So I will get that out to you this week, and keep in mind that we will be going over that on the webinar on Thursday, as well as the testing results in detail, and you know, also the setups in detail. So there is still, like I said, there are still a few spots, so if you're interested, go to the website and get the info.